Hello and welcome to the Skaterwheel gaming channel. My name is Skaterwheel and today I will be talking to you about the Sid Meier's Civilization 6 video game. This is the first Let's Play video in the series, and tonight I will be talking you through a series of basic procedures for the game, and as well as a certain type of victory you can attain, which is the technological victory. And to that end, I've chosen for the Chinese Empire due to the fact that they have Eureka and Inspirations that provide 60% of research and time instead of 50%, and they have quite a nice improvement as well we can use to defend ourselves with. So let's just get in there and see what happens. Okay, so what you see is basically you begin with a settler unit right here, and you begin with a warrior type unit, and what you want is to actually build somewhere you can grow food and get production going, because that's basically what you need to do. So as we can see right here, there's a river, which is good because you need to be near water for production and growth properties for your city. There's also seemingly like a lake or an ocean right here, so there's possibilities of where we want to go. This is actually a good spot. There's food, plenty of it. There's some production capabilities. There's some sheep, which we can use once we have the animal husbandry technology. So it's not actually a bad spot. So I'm just going to found a city right here. There we go. And we're going to choose something to produce in this town. And we're going with Builder. It only takes 10 turns, really quickly. And by the time we have that, we'll have the mining technology. So we can increase our production here and here. And we can build production, we can increase production for buildings and units faster, so that's a good thing. So basically what you have to do is you have to research. Without technologies you will not get anywhere. So important is that if you play technological victory, which I can definitely recommend for your very first playthrough, because of the fact that you will be able to get ahead of the competition on military technologies and defend yourself whilst going for the victory. So you can get used to the game. There's one thing that you definitely need to do, and that's take a look at the technology tree. It's quite large, as you can see. I'm going really quickly through it, but as you can see, there's a lot of squares, and each has like 15 or maybe more turns that you need to research it. So there's 3 basic techs. Well, 5, but here's the first 3. And what you want is writing. You want it rather quickly, because once you can build a campus, specialization district, and a library, you can get your science going on a higher pace. However, because we need to be able to build it, and I want to get the civilization boost for it by mining another civ, I'm going with mining first, and that's because it will also help us build other builders and buildings quickly. So I'm going with mining as of this time. There's also civics that you have to choose, but the first one is always the code of laws. So basically what it comes down to is you gotta sit this one out, and when we get there, I'll show you guys what you can do with it. So another important aspect of this game is exploration. Military units do not have an automated explore option, so you have to guide them by hand. Scouts do, but scouts have extremely little firepower. So basically you can use it for exploring, but I wouldn't go fight with it. But you'd never spawn with a scout, you always spawn with a warrior. So I'm just going to walk around with it, as the first few bits of the game aren't exactly something to worry about, especially since I have set on a lower setting, difficulty setting. So let's go and walk around a bit. Well, it does seem to be an ocean of some kind, and we'll be seeing what's going to happen. We're going to fast forward this just a bit. I'm not going to do very much stuff alongside this particular endeavor. What I do want to talk about is different kinds of area. There's marshes, there's woods, hills, fields, ocean tiles. Each kind of tile has its own movement points. You have a certain amount of movement points when you start moving, and you start a turn. So for example, we're switching turns right now, and as soon as I hit my warrior, you can see I can either move 2 squares in this side, 2 tiles, or I can only move 1 there. This is because woods, hills and marshes require more movement points. This is very important, so I will get back to that on the military aspect. Oh, that was not supposed to happen. For the military aspect, I will come back to that. But it is always important that if you are defending, or healing from an enemy unit to stick in the woods, because when they attack you, basically what it comes down to is standing in the woods gives you a tactical defensive advantage. So that's very important to remember. So what we're going to do is we're going to move around a bit. And we found a friendly tribal village. Any and all special events that are worth noting will be displayed here on the right side of the screen. So as soon as you click on them, you'll be taken there. You can see what it actually says right here. You have found a village inhabited by your friendly tribe. Right click, clicks it away. So I'm just gonna see what happens when we get there. As you can see, I can still move one. Also, crossing a river costs you extra movement points, so you can cross 2 rivers at once. There we go. And there is something to the south here. As you can see, there's a border of some kind. So let's have a look. See what happens.
Our city-state neighbors have made a request of us. If we can impress them, I think they will reward us handsomely. Very
nice. Alright, we found the first city-state, which means we get an envoy there, since we're the first to meet them. We've met a representative. They have to give us a quest to recruit a great general, which is with great people. And like I said, we get one envoy because we're the first major civ to meet the Kabul city-state, which is a good thing. Alright, so I'm going to set it right here. Great people, as you can find here, you will gain points over time, and they have all kinds of different abilities. So we'll get to that later when they actually appear, because right now this is pretty irrelevant. You do not get them early on in the game, so this is not important right now. So you can see they have this kind of units, but there's nothing to be afraid of unless for some reason they would declare war, but I have not seen that happen in early stages of the game. So I wouldn't, when you're playing this, I wouldn't be too worried about it. See, there's some copper here. If we build a mine there, it greatly increase production, which is a good thing because we can actually use more production. One city is as big as that, it will actually envelop that particular tile. Now we have mining, so the first thing we want to do is I'm still going to keep moving. I can't express that enough how important that is. Also, we're going to choose a new research, and like I said, what we need is something to build science with right here, writing, and for that we need pottery. So we're going with pottery now, and I'm hoping to still be able to find another major civilization before we have to get to writing. Right now we have completed the builder, which is actually quite in time with the mining, so that's a good thing. And we can do two things. We can either build a farm, or a set of farms actually, or we can increase production. So right now, first what I'm going to do is I'm going with production, because that will help save us a lot of time, which is a very good thing. So basically, I'm thinking I'm going to build another builder. Most people try and build a scout or a slinger, because with a slinger, if you defeat a barbarian unit, you get an upgrade, which might not be such a bad idea. Since it's only 3 turns, monument gives you extra culture, which you will need, because otherwise your people will riot if you do not have enough. You can easily lose cities to cultural influences. So I'm gonna go with a slinger for right now, and after that we'll see what happens. As you can see, there's a scout right there, so it's not a bad idea at all. There we go. Now don't be afraid, because I've never seen actually barbarians take a city, especially much less in the beginning of the game. So I think you'll be fine if this happens. This pretty much happens every single game, so you know, it's kind of a standard thing. We're gonna keep moving. There we go. What we'd like is some more production capability, and after that some food for growth. So you can see it takes 18 turns to grow another citizen in size. So it's important to make sure you build farms, which actually provide housing for the citizens themselves, but also gets the city able to expand. This is important. So we get to choose another thing to build, and we can either go with a settler, which is not a bad idea, so we can actually utilize the ocean tiles, or you can build a monument. So it's kind of a two-way thing. We get more production now, which is not a bad thing, but I want to expand more, so I'm actually thinking going with a builder again, and after that not maybe a settler. The more things we build on the tiles, the improvements, the more we actually get with it. Now, as you can see, this is a barbarian unit right here in the woods, so they are fortified extra. I'm not going to attack them. They're spearmen. They're up an era, so I will be retreating in the next turn. This is a very bad idea to actually attack. So I'm going to move the builders right here. Building a farm on a wheat tile, a wheat resource, actually gives us the eureka moment for the irrigation technology, so it's a very good thing.
New policies in our government can be of great benefit. Our people await your decree.
So we have our first civic.
Man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst.
And you see we get 4 cards to begin with, so we change policies. This is the first time we can change this. This is very important. Right now I will go with +5 unit combat strength, so I can keep off the barbarians at any time. And I'm going with +1 production in all cities, because I'm not planning to use faith. And gold is not something I need this particular time. Even though it's only 5.2, it's the one I do not have any expenses, so that's something not to worry about. I'm going to confirm my policies, and I'm going to move away. Let's see what happens. We choose a new civic. Craftsmanship is for economic purposes very well usable. +30% protection to our builders. Can save you a lot of time. Actually, I'm going with foreign trade because we can trade with the city-state and other civilizations, which gives us extra protection, gold, culture, science, etc. And it also allows us to perform a joint war action. This is for diplomacy purposes. We'll get to that when we meet other civs. So right now you see we can build farm. This is actually the recommended bit, and this is all the other options. This will expand when you have more technologies. So right now we're going with a farm. As you can see, there was also the possibility of actually harvesting the resource. I'll show it in just a bit. And this is something I rather not do unless absolutely necessary, because I've built a farming now, I can utilize it until the end of the game if I want to, and that will give me more sustainable growth. That is a very good thing, especially in the beginning. As you can see, it already went down to 15, and as soon as I build some more, it'll go down even more. So that's actually a good thing. I'm actually happy we got a good spot. There's another village we can visit. Right now I'm going to move here. And we're gonna wait just a bit.
No man ever wetted clay and then left it.
So we've got pottery, and that means that we have to choose a new tech, even though we have a reason to go with animal husbandry, so we can utilize these sheep resources. I'm actually still going with writing. It will take 14 turns, and we still have to meet another civilization. So there's a good chance that we will actually get that cut in half. We have another boost here. Several, actually. As you can see, you can choose to harvest resources here, but it will remove the wheat resource. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to build a farm. There you go. There's 6 now, and there was 15 or 14 just a minute ago. So it actually saves a lot of time, especially in the beginning. The quest that we have found here for Preslav, because we've seen them, is to recruit a great rider. It's one of the great people. So that's something that we will not be getting there quickly. We have earned 1 envoy since we are the first to meet them, and we have met one of their representatives because we've seen them. Now, as you can see, the basic of this game is not too very hard or anything, but you do need to kind of watch out what you're going to do with everything. So it's not like you shouldn't play this when you're not into what you would call long-term thinking, but don't expect it to be like anything like SimCity or Call of Duty. It's actually a different type of genre. It can be very fun, personally. I would say that ever since I got introduced to this series, I've been hooked on it. So yeah, definitely. As you can see, the next thing we can build is either monument or granary. We can do a settler, but it would actually undermine the growth of this city, and this is our capital, so I want to actually expand that just a bit first. always go with the granary first, because it gives you housing, it gives you food, and it allows your city to grow faster. So this is very important. You can do something else if you'd like, but I would definitely recommend using a granary first. So as you can see, we've got some things going here. There's some bananas for plantation we can do later. There's not too much that we can't do yet. I mean, right now we can't control any of these tiles just yet, but as soon as we expand a bit, you'll see you can buy tiles, expand your cities, actually settle new cities. And that's actually a very fun and exciting part of this video game. And as you expand, your technologies and civics will cost more culture and science to be developed. But that is actually very good, because if you have more cities, you can generate more income from them for each in particular kind of income, such as culture here, such as science here, or faith, or gold. And the more cities you have, the more you generate. And every time you build a city, it will be a little harder, but as soon as it gets going, it will increase your income enormously. So you'll be very much rewarded for expanding. This is the entire purpose of the game. So right now we have the option to build a granary, and I can cut this away, producing 23 production. So what I'm going to do is going to check how much something costs in production value. Well, as you can see, I could actually cut this away and save myself quite a lot of time and not lose any production on it. So I'm going to do that just right here. There we go. Oh, it's a daisy, and it takes away a few turns. So I'm glad with that. That's a good choice. Well, at this particular time, you have seen the basics. I will be able to tell you more later. We'll be talking about traders, settlers, envoys, faith, districts entirely, and also about what is a strategic plan to continue using technologies for technological victory, and when or when not to attack another civilization or city-state, as warmongering will get you down on the popularity board. Right now, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please do ask them. I will try to answer them as best I can. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.